Welcome to Feng Shui Living, the podcast designed for busy women who want to de-stress, live with intention, and create a home that truly supports their well-being. Each week, I'll bring you practical tips, insightful ideas, and simple strategies to enhance both your home and your life. Let's get started. Quick pause before we jump in. If you love this podcast, you will love my book, Aligned at Home. Think of it as your design and energy guidebook to creating a space that supports your well-being and your goals. You can get a signed copy over on my website, purelivingwithlisamorton.com, or snag it on Amazon or wherever you buy books. I hope you enjoy it. Well, hello there and welcome back to Feng Shui Living Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Morton, and today we're talking about something fun, design trends that are wrapping up, because we're going to leave what was in 2025 back there and we're moving forward to 2026 and all these great design trends coming forward. But let me be clear, this isn't a list of rules or guides or even a celebration of these trends for trend's sake. I'd rather talk about what we're gently leaving behind and releasing because of our needs, our values, and really we're learning that how we're living in our home is shifting. I've seen this so much with my clients. So I wanted to make this episode about just kind of what we're letting go of. So go ahead and pause the recording if you want. Go get a cup of something cozy and warm, and let's explore what's fading out. So we're going to talk about trend number 1, maximalism as a default. Back in early 2020s, maximalism was such a big thing. You were seeing it everywhere, online, on Pinterest, online magazine articles. You were seeing bold patterns, wild, vibrant floral patterns, lots of layered colors, lots of just stuff. I'd go into homes and just see so much stuff on bookshelves, right? Just so much stuff layered on top of one another. But what I'm seeing now is that people are craving space again. Now, this isn't a minimalist emptiness, right? But intentional simplicity. We want objects that matter. We want space to breathe, and we want layouts that actually work for our life and not just for photos. I've always been a big fan of leaving intentional space. As you're designing your space, maybe you arrange, say, the candlesticks on the table just so, but maybe you want to leave some empty space. Maybe you want to arrange the books on the bookshelf, but be mindful to include some intentional empty space, some breathing room. Adding this breathing room really turns it into a sense of ease as we're looking at the space. Because I have this saying, and you've probably heard it before if you've listened to the podcast, if everything is screaming, you can't hear a word. And that's so true with interiors. And some interior spaces can just be so over-designed. We need that breathing space. Our bodies, our eyes, our nervous system can't take everything in when it's overflowing. We need that sense of calm every so often to just add a little peace. So think about leaving breathing room. I also love to encourage clients to think of this breathing room as a space for your future, maybe a future collection. Maybe you want to leave an empty corner of a nook of a table or a display piece for your next travel. You're going to find something on your next travel adventure, and then you have something to hunt for, and that can be really fun. So remember that if you are thinking about clearing out some space, you're not behind. You're just evolving with this trend, with this approach to release maximalism kind of as a default. So trend number 2 that I'm happy is fizzling away is matchy everything. Matching furniture, matching, coordinated palettes and twins of everything. You know, it's cute in theory, but do you guys remember in the 90s? I just can't help but think of the 90s was so big for matchy everything. I've worked on so many homes to revitalize them after they were overcome with the matchy trend. They would have a wallpaper with a complementary border and then an accent wallpaper, and then the tile would match, and it was burgundy and green everywhere. And door pulls, countertops, artwork, heavy draperies, burgundy and green everywhere, whatever the color palette was. And releasing this is just, it can be so refreshing. We've done this over time. We've softened, we released so much of that matchy theme, and we're doing more and more of it, right? It's, I believe the future is ushering in more diversity in our spaces, things that work together, that complement without being like a carbon copy. You can have two complementary lamps that are not matching. And that's what really designs a space and what really creates interest. You can also think of complementary wood tones, mixed tiles, old versus new, maybe just some really intentional contrast. I personally love to mix a kind of vintage industrial vibe along and pair that with something delicate and feminine. There's something really powerful about that I enjoy working with. So see what feels, can feel more collected to you versus just styled overnight. All right, trend number 3 is too trendy. Too trendy, like you look like HGTV could walk into your home and photograph it tomorrow. Some people, that's their goal. Good for them. I think being too trendy is just, it's on its way out. You know, we used to want this home that looked like a showroom, that looked like the crew could come in tomorrow. And that can also cause a lot of frustration. I have a lot of clients that my home isn't up to par, but their home is beautiful because they might have one throw pillow that's out of place. They're bent out of shape about it because they think more about being trendy, being perfect, being photo shoot ready, instead of really nestling into creating their nest and feeling a sense of home and a sense of comfort. We're getting back to how we feeling like you really live there. You really live. There might be some wrinkles in the throw that's draped across the sofa, and that's okay because you live there. Remember to choose your items with intention, not Pinterest, not Instagram, not any influencing you might get online. So real quick, I want to share something with you that it's my first time announcing it with you. The VIP subscribers heard about it last week, but I want to share with you my Aligned at Home collective is going to be debuting really soon. This is the experience to be on the pages of Aligned at Home. You will get, it's a monthly membership where you'll get live teaching, Q&A every month, the replay, a companion workbook that I almost have wrapped up. I'm really excited about, plus all kinds of perks and bonuses. I have a special founding rate of $19.97 per month, and that will go away very soon. We kick off at the Chinese New Year, February 17th. So keep your eyes open for the newsletter and any information about that. Okay. If you have any questions, reach out. All right, let's get into trend number 4. Now, this one really affects me personally, so I'm curious what you guys are going to say. Trend number 4 that's fading out is neutrals everywhere. Beiges and grays, they were so big, and there's nothing wrong with them. I love a soft, quiet, neutral palette. That is the majority of my home. It feels fresh, it feels clean, it feels good. But what I'm noticing is instead of defaulting to these beiges and grays and neutrals, people are tending towards colors that feel a little more alive and a little more connected to them. And I'm having a ball specking out some of these colors and working with these colors. It's not trendy colors. They're not the colors of the year from anyone. people are really selecting colors that really make them feel something. And that's what's really powerful. Being surrounded by a color that you have an emotional response to is huge. I actually am working on my own my own master bathroom that I've been debating doing a neutral. All right, we've been through the matchy vibe, the too trendy. We're going to get into, I guess we also just did everywhere neutrals, and now we're going to get into trend number 5. And that is one size fits all layouts. Open concepts. Open concepts were at one time the gold standard. Everyone looked for an open concept design. Everyone wanted to build an open concept home. But in practice, not every family or rhythm really thrives in that space. We're seeing a move towards more intentional, purpose-driven layouts. I don't know if you guys remember when we were all stuck at home during COVID. And a lot of families would call me. They had an eye-opening moment. They're like, we cannot function. The kids are at home. We're at home. We're trying to work and do all the things. And it's so noisy. I hear the kids' school when I'm trying to do my job, sitting down at the other end of the table. I got a lot of these calls. I think we all had an eye-opening moment to these open concept floor plans, and we had to get really creative. So now we're stepping away, and I see that even more in the future. Are we going to have completely closed floor plans or individual rooms like we used to? No, but I think we're going to have a lot more purposeful rooms with doors and ways to close off, or at least divide somehow. So I think that is going to be something really interesting. We're, cozy nooks for meditation, reflection, a little nook in the corner that you can close off, or also multi-use spaces that you can adapt, that can be multi-purpose rooms. So it's not just devoted to one thing. We'll be really flexible and helpful in the future too. So it's less of this copy this open floor plan, and more for design for how you actually live. So as I'm going through all these trends and taking notes and putting together this episode, I really got to thinking about one theme that really stands out. We're leaving behind design that's for the camera and for show and for display, and moving towards design that's truly for a sense of comfort and for heart and soul. Homes are being built less to impress and more to sustain and also support the people that are actually in them. These are slower rhythms. These are a deeper sense of comfort and safety and security. So remember, the trends are always going to come and go. There's always going to be a color of the year by everybody, and someone's going to decide what is trendy this year and what isn't, depending on what show or who you follow online. But remember that what actually is important is what you love and what makes you and your family thrive. So if you're clearing out, editing, redecorating, remember to focus on the things that feel good and not trendy. Thanks for being with me today as we review and say goodbye to some of these 2025 trends. And I'm so excited to check out 2026. I'm working on an episode of what we're going to expect in 2026, as well as what you need to know about these trends, because you don't have to follow any trends. Use it simply as some inspiration. But before you do, it's important to know how that trend, that look, that color might impact you and your well-being. All right, friends, I will see you at our next episode. Take care. Special thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. For more information, head over to the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe Give us a 5-star review and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time.